Who exactly are the four most important defenders on the Houston Texans defense? It's a loaded question, and you could go a lot of different ways, but I believe I've created the perfect order. We'll go 4-1, and how I determined who was in this top four was how easily are they replaced, how necessary are they for the Texans to play really good defense, and just overall, what's the expectation for them, and how likely is it that they can achieve that expectation. So wrapping all that in, let's start with the honorable mention. That's right. Honorable mention to Christian Harris. Christian Harris, the linebacker for the Texans. He's not the most important linebacker, and I would feel not great if he was out and one of these other backup linebackers had to step in, but Christian Harris gets the honorable mention. So number 4 on my list of the top 4 most important defenders on the Houston Texans, Azeez Al-Shaair, the linebacker for the Texans, added in free agency, formerly played for DeMeco Ryans in San Francisco, so he knows the defense really well. And then last year, a breakout season in Tennessee, over 1,000 snaps played, over 100 tackles, 5th in the league in tackles. Actually, Al-Shaair is going to be a really important piece for this defense. He's going to set the tone. He's going to be the communication hub for this defense, and he knows exactly what an elite style of DeMeco Ryans' defense is supposed to look like when he's on the field. He did that in San Francisco. He was a part of elite defenses in San Francisco. That is what you need from that linebacker spot. Going to have the green dot, going to call the plays, and there's not a lot behind him. It's tough to replace Azeez Al-Shaair if he is not able to play a full season for this Texans team. Yes, I like Christian Harris. He's 5th on this list if you want to give honorable mention the 5 spot, but he can't do exactly what Azeez Al-Shaair can do. Al-Shaair's got more experience, especially more experience in this defense. So he checks in at number 4 at the linebacker spot. Linebackers, kind of kick down the pecking order a little bit on defenses, but I feel like you have to have really solid linebacker play to be a big-time defense in this league. You think about what the Ravens have with Roquan Smith. They had it with Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. Last year, the Chiefs have had solid linebacker play. The Browns, they were one of the top defenses in football. They had solid linebacker play. If you want to have a solid defense, you've got to be good at linebacker, and Azeez Al-Shaair fills that for the Houston Texans. Checking in at number 3, Will Anderson. That's right. Will Anderson checks in at number 3. One of the most important players last year. Really, regardless of his results, you had to see him pay off for this Texans team last year after they made the big investment to jump up there, add him to the already top pick that was C.J. Stroud. Anderson really needed to pay off last year for the Texans, and well, he did. He looked fantastic last year, wrapped up Defensive Rookie of the Year honors, and he's looking to improve on that this year. I feel like there is a really solid base for Will Anderson. I don't know that I exactly have seen enough flashes to know that he's going to be consistently great, but I know that consistently good is probably like the floor for Will Anderson right now. Still believe we'll see flashes of greatness. I just don't know that I'm to the point where I'm going to say every single week I know that Will Anderson is going to be great. I know he's going to be good every week. I just don't know that I know he's going to be great every week, and he's going to be just this absolute just monster game wrecker. Now, he could turn into that, and we could look back here in December and be like, Cody, remember in June when you didn't think Will Anderson was one of the most important defenders on the Houston Texans? I know. I'm being a little risky here, putting him at 3. He probably has a case for 2 or 1 until you hear my cases for 2 or 1. Speaking of number 2 and defensive ends, I'm going to the other end of that defensive line, going with Danielle Hunter, the $50 million man, one of the biggest free agent acquisitions in the entire NFL. And Danielle Hunter, I know he's not familiar with the defense. It's going to be a new defense for him. He's changing teams, but the resume and the potential for Danielle Hunter, I still can't get out of my brain that Matt Burke, the defensive coordinator, said they even think they could get a little bit more out of Danielle Hunter's pass rush in this style of offense. And I'm like, geez, he was already really good. He was already one of the best sack guys, consistently a double-digit sack guy, consistently in the Pro Bowl conversation. And, oh, by the way, in addition to the sacks, he was tied for the league lead in tackles for a loss last year. So how could he get better? Well, if he does, and he potentially can get better, then the Texans have themselves an absolute gem on their hands. Remember, Jonathan Grenard, playing opposite Will Anderson, cleaned up and had a fantastic season. And that was a guy of Jonathan Grenard's talent level. Danielle Hunter is better. If he has a better season than Jonathan Grenard last year, which is the expectation for Danielle Hunter, but he has a better season than Danielle Hunter had last year, you start to fan yourself and think to yourself, well, this defense is getting really, really nasty. Now, I put those two defensive ends together. If Danielle Hunter's going to miss 1 or 2 weeks, hey, there's Danico Autry, highly respected, a double-digit sack guy last year. Same goes for Will Anderson. So a good replacement if they're down for a week or two, which kind of kept both of those guys from being number one on my list. Number one on my list, cornerback Derek Stingley. And I know it's a cornerback and it's not a pass rusher. It's not a do-it-all linebacker. It's a cornerback, but he's the cornerback on this team. If Derek Stingley cannot play a game for the Houston Texans, you're looking at rookie Kamari Lassiter replacing him, or bounced around on his third team after being a formerly top pick, Jeff Okudah, or bounced around on his third team after formerly being a top pick, C.J. Henderson, or started the season last year with the Texans, got cut in training camp, went to the Steelers, got cut, was on his couch, came back, played slot cornerback for the Texans, Desmond King. You see where all the potential replacements get a little scary there, and what Stingley did when he got back, when he played at an elite level after the injury last season, it was awesome. It made so many other things on the team easier to execute and operate. And when you think back to those elite San Francisco defenses that D'Amico Ryans was a part of, they didn't have a shutdown, lockdown, no questions asked, don't really want to throw at him, sometimes I have to throw at him cornerback. They didn't have that guy in that defense. If Derek Stingley's that guy and they get the fantastic pass rush that is a hallmark of a D'Amico Ryans defense, they get that great linebacker play that is a hallmark of a D'Amico Ryans defense, and they have the safeties kind of making everybody right, in addition to elite cornerback play, start thinking about a big-time defense, start thinking about a top 10 defense, start thinking about a top 5 defense, and maybe one of the best defenses in all of football. A lot of ifs, a lot of ifs, a lot of ifs. And if Derek Stingley is not on the field, it will be very hard to see how the Texans defense gets to that level. Serious questions after Stingley at the cornerback spot, even though Kamari Lassiter had a fantastic OTAs and minicamp. Okay, still serious questions after Stingley, and the irreplaceability of him and his potential talent brings him to number one on my list. He's number one in my top 4. What is your top 4? Let me know in the comment section down below. Did I miss somebody? Should I change the order up a little bit? That's where the comment section comes in. That's where you come in as well. Certainly appreciate you getting active in the comment section. Certainly appreciate thumbs ups on the video, subscriptions to the channel, and turn the little bell on so that you're always notified when new stuff pops up here on YouTube. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Can't wait till we talk Texans again soon.